is Brent Peterson, and I am the expert in e-commerce on this panel. David and Isaac, go ahead and tell us. Hi, Zeke. Go ahead and
Go
introduce
ahead,
yourselves.
Isaac.
Yeah, I'm Isaac Mori. I'm an expert in content marketing. I talk about SEO and AIO, and that'll be part of our focus today in this structured data episode. David?
I'm David Aragon, and I'm an expert in development
Wow, and WordPress, right?
and WordPress.
All right. We're going to jump right into it. We only have 15 minutes, so we're going to talk a little bit about structured data. So, David, go ahead. Start us off with what does that even mean in structured data when we're talking about your website?
Well, I was thinking that maybe to introduce this topic, I would draw a comparison of the structured data with something that people are really familiar with. For example, your resume, right? If you apply for a job, you have a resume. Why do you have a resume? What is the function of the resume? The function of the resume is to give a prospective prospective employer, a really quick and fast overview so they can, and also information so they can learn about you. And they don't have to draw assumptions from the text. You are telling them exactly what you want them to tell, what you want them to know about you. So I would say that structured data, yeah, is the same, right? You are telling a bot, a ChatGPT, whoever is crawling your website, exactly what you want that machine, that bot to know about your website. That way, these bots or crawlers, they don't have to guess, right? You are telling, this is what I do, this is my name, these are my hours, these are my products, this is how it works, right? So it really is really fast way for telling the crawlers how to crawl your website and what your website is all about.
Yeah, I think in the past SEO was such an important thing, but now we have GEO. So Isaac, tell us about structured data and one of the, I know you had a topic. What is one of the highlights that you can really get out of structured data and GEO, AIO, AEO?
Right, so SEO is all about showing up on search engines, and it comes down really to content and technical performance. So you want your site to have lots of strong content explaining topics to people in a way that hits keywords and signals to search engines that you're talking about the questions they're asking. And then you want your site to perform well, to be fast, to be well structured, to have backlinks coming in, to help with search engines as well. When it comes to showing up on AI, because people are using AI instead of search engines more and more today, you want to hit some of those same things. You want to talk about your product or your service in a thorough manner, and you want your site to have some technical support to lend extra power to that, and a big part of that is structured data.
How do you see people using that in a positive way?
Yeah, well, I think one of the great ways of using structured data to help your visibility online is by writing FAQs and then tagging them appropriately with schema markup to show the crawler bots that it is FAQs. So I think, really just consider in your support chat, in your customer emails, in your conversations with customers or leads, what questions do people have, and then answer them. And I think if you do that, you'll show up, you'll be answering big questions that people have. And that's something that's applicable to search engines, it's applicable to LLMs and showing up as a source. It's even applicable to social media searches and people who might be looking for something specific, like, say, Pinterest. So I think that really just answering questions is a really positive way to show up more and help your customers at the same time.
I think, David, one of the things that people have traditionally not done well on their product pages is have a lot of structured data. They might have a couple of bullet points, which is structured, but they don't necessarily have questions that people are asking about, what sort of opportunities are people passing by when they don't properly build out the pages? Any page, it could be a blog post or a product page, without this kind of structured data approach.
Sure. Well, I would say that the opportunity that they are letting go by is to be found on the internet by these magic machines, right? In the old days, you have a product page, and the first thing that people was hang up was on, let's put a description, but then they put like beautiful pictures that to describe with a carousel, right? To see the product, to appeal to the product. Well, that's great, right? But now I think that the market is shifting to a more, tell me what it is, how you do it, how much it costs, where can I get it, fast. It's just fast. So if you are not fast, I don't know, probably you will not be found.
So Isaac, maybe tell us a little bit about how LLMs look at sites and what they're looking for particularly. And I know that in the past we've always said we want to have humans writing for humans, but now really sometimes it's humans writing for robots to crawl your site, right?
Yeah, they're looking for text that addresses the issues that people are searching for and asking about. They're also looking for sites that are fast, exactly like David was saying. In fact, speed seems to be even more important for AIO than for SEO. So Google might not show you first or second result if your site is not very fast. ChatGPT will probably pass you up entirely if your site is not fast, because it's trying to pull up real-time answers and chat with people, and it doesn't want to sit there and wait 5 seconds for your JavaScript to render.
What kind of things can people do now to get some low fruit done, or grabbing some low fruit from whatever their site they have to take advantage of it right away?
Yeah. Well, one thing is just troubleshoot any issues that are causing your site to be extremely slow. We've seen people upload, really heavy PNGs as all their featured images, for example, and just swapping out your largest PNGs with some compressed JPEGs can solve some speed problems really fast, which means you'll rank better, and you'll also, just perform better for the real life humans who are coming to your site and don't want to wait 10 seconds for it to load.
David, what sort of mistakes have you seen people make in terms of both speed and content? I know that you had a long history of working in the content industry. What kind of mistakes have you seen people make from building content and then deploying content in, say, a WordPress site?
Sure. Well, where I used to work, I think they did a really good job in content, right? They really did spend a lot of time in content, but they didn't worry about speed. Website was an afterthought, right? And I think that is a problem, because in some websites, I noticed that the thing that was taking the longer to load was maybe a post that was 2 weeks old, right? On the front page. So you have to have, I guess, that like everything, performance budgeting, right? I mean, I think that's what it's called. And what it is that every single feature, every single piece of content that you put on your website, you have to measure against the time it's taking to load. And at that point, right, you said, hey, I want my website to load in 2.5 seconds, 2 seconds, whatever that is. Then you start from there, and then you gauge the content based on to that, to make sure that fits that criteria. And be choosy and picky, to be honest. Do you really want to see a 2 weeks old post about something in the front page?
Isaac, that brings up a good question. Tell us a little bit about how the freshness of your content matters, and even if you have very old content, the opportunity to go ahead and update that so it meets some of the standards that now not just Google's asking for, but ChatGPT is asking for.
Yeah. Well, Google and ChatGPT are both trying to find good, high-quality, up-to-date sources. And because of that, they're going to favor things that are fresh over being old. 2 weeks isn't necessarily that bad, but you definitely don't want to see an article that's 2 years old. Like, that's just not going to compete with a new article. And because of that, if you've been around a long time and been doing content marketing a long time, you probably have a lot of articles that are 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. And you can come back and just update them. I think changing dates, checking for any information that's changed, making sure there's no broken links. Those are all great productive things to do in a revamp that will help on their own, and they'll also signal to Google or to ChatGPT, etc., that your content is new and fresh again because it's been updated a couple weeks ago instead of a couple years ago. And so all those things will work together to make it rank better. And if you have a lot of old content, you've done 90% of the work. But just keeping up to date on that last 10 of refreshing the content every once in a while, updating it, etc., can really pay off in terms of keeping it productive and effective.
Probably I would say show content that is relevant. Sorry, Brent. If it's relevant to what you're telling me, right?
Right.
Yeah, the magic there with Google and everybody is your stickiness, and they used to call it bounce, but they call it engagement that now. So the more that you're engaging with your content, with whatever it is, hopefully a human, the better off your content is going to be and the higher it's going to rank. Isaac, is Google, I mean, you keep hearing these terms, SEO is dead, but everything is built around this SEO concept. How are we seeing tools change for people to be discovered and then to measure that discovery?
Yeah, I would say SEO is definitely not dead. One, because people still use Google, and two, and Bing to a lesser extent, etc. But two, also because AIO really depends on a lot of the same core concepts as SEO. So, writing a thorough, authoritative article that covers your product or service from every angle and answers tons of questions is going to help you show up on Google. It will also help you show up on ChatGPT. So it's a little inaccurate to say like SEO is dead in that sense.
David, what kind of misconceptions do you see merchants having about SEO versus AEO or versus the LLMs? What kind of misconceptions do you see?
That is, technology and terminology is changing so rapidly that, I think the other day, I'm dealing with with this all the time, and all of a sudden somebody introduced GTO, I think, right? It's like, and I didn't know what it was. So I think it's just to navigate through all these ever-changing environment and technologies and terminology is becoming the bigger challenge, in my opinion, right? But at the end of the day, like Isaac is saying, just do. If you were doing SEO and work for you, keep doing it, but don't forget about AEO, right? About just keep adding to it, because at the end of the day, we're still humans looking at the data and also bots looking at the data. So,
and Brent, I realized I didn't answer the end of your last question, which was how tools are changing. And in that sense, it's been a huge change this year. At the beginning of the year, I remember it was a real challenge to tell clients how much traffic they were getting from ChatGPT or from Perplexity or from, whatever LLMs. And now, a few months later, like Google Analytics can tell you, SEMrush can tell you with even more detail. And all of those are becoming just a little more reliable, I think, too. So like at the beginning of the year, we were seeing big fluctuations in the clients that we were tracking for their LLMs, and we weren't sure if that was because things were changing or just because it wasn't being tracked very effectively. And just everything we've seen from working with various clients on various industries is like the tracking tech is getting a lot better to know how LLMs are directing traffic to your site. And I think that's only going to, that trend is just going to continue.
Isaac, I'm going to leave you with the last question. How do you communicate that business importance to a merchant who is not really understanding how LLMs work and structured data? How do you help them understand how important this is?
Yeah, I think that the good thing about content marketing is it really should be multi-channel and multi-platform. So if you can, like, good content that's helping you rank on ChatGPT is also going to perform well on social media, is also going to bring in search engine traffic still, because a lot of people still use Google, etc. So I think to answer, one important way that we do that is just by showing our results in other areas, and then from that, like, let the AI side work itself out, because like David and I have been saying, they're not that different either. Like, good SEO content is usually going to be good AIO content, and so on.
And David, I know that you've been working on some really cool technical things that are scraping and doing things around content. Give us the 10,000-foot view of what you've been working on lately.
All right, so I think I like, we have a ton of information these days, a ton about your website, about your statistic, like Isaac is saying, where the traffic is coming from and all that stuff. But I think what it lacks is a global tool that put that all together and allow the user to consume that in a plain English, right? Is it as simple as, no, even like if you run a page speed insight to see how fast your website, how well it performs, you look at the terminology, and really you have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what cumulative layout shift is, right? So I think that we are missing tools that say, hey, cumulative layout shift is just your page is jumping, something where we just speak English to that thing, or Spanish, or whatever it is, or Spanish English like I do, and just give me the answer in English. Don't make me run a report. I don't want to be a Google Analytics expert. I have a business to run. Just give me the answer.
Yeah, that's such a great. I'm going to close on that, because I think that one thing that LLMs are giving us nowadays is the natural language to write things and talk to the LLMs in a way that we can understand back. All right, so we're going to be back in 2 weeks. It's been a great conversation. Our next episode is November 20th, and we don't have a topic, but we are going to have we do have a topic. It's going to be so great. You're going to have to wait for it. Yeah. All right. My name is Brent Peterson. I had Isaac Murray and David Arago. All the best.